All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. By the way, if you want to join the conversation, because you see the show is called America Talks Live, okay? I'm Steve Malzberg. You are America. I've said that. I said I would say it every day. I should, but I don't for some reason. But I do give you the phone number, 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629. We welcome in now former Republican congressman from the great state of Colorado, 2008 candidate for president of the United States, Breitbart.com columnist, Congressman Tom Tancredo. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
You know, I envy that you're in where you are in Colorado because it's beautiful and it's a different way of life. But you know, I pinch myself because I'm sitting here and 17 or so blocks straight up Fifth Avenue. I am on the corner of Fifth. 17 blocks straight up Fifth Avenue. Out my window is Trump Tower, where the fate of the world really is being decided.
Right. Yes, I envy you that. I envy you being that close, that being proximity to that whole thing. And where he actually is, what, going to dinner on his own?
Yeah, he went to a 21 Club, which was, could you imagine sitting in there and he walks in? Anyway, but I understand you were spotted at a protest with your children. Tell us about that.
Oh, it was great. It was great. We knew there were going to be a series of these protests, as there are all over the country, and this one was going to be at the Colorado State University up at Fort Collins, Colorado. So we only had a little bit of time to get together, and I took 4 guys up there with me, 4 young men who work for me in various capacities, and we set up some props at the demonstration. There were about 1,000. There were over 1,000 people there, and 4 of us, and so it was about even intellectually, but. So we set up this display. It was just so much fun because I got this good friend of mine gave me a crib, an old crib she had. So we took this crib up, put it up, and put a sign in it that said "Safe Place." Then we had a table with pacifiers that we were selling for $1, and a table with security blankets that we were selling another, and a little pram, a little baby stroller that I had a sign on it saying "Transport to the next rally." But the thing that absolutely drove them crazy, I mean, they went nuts about everything. They were, but there's a lot of arguing and yelling and screaming and all you can imagine. But the thing that drove them nuts was a poster that I just hand wrote, and I was just standing there with it, and it said, "Suck it up, Buttercup." And so they just got so mad, and it was just great. Had a lot of fun.
Congressman, where are we? Where are we living? What am I viewing? I'm going around to colleges. My son's a junior in high school, and I got to tell you, he's outspoken. He's a proud Republican. He missed voting for Trump. He couldn't wait. He wants to meet Donald Trump more than anything in the world. My point is, he's going to be in such trouble on college campuses, whichever one he goes to. How did we get here?
It's amazing. It is. I think it's a generation of kids being told that they can't fail. That if you can put your name on the paper, that you'll pass. I mean, it's all this idiotic way we create a false reality, and people. Honestly, I think it's all part of that generation, of that thought process that we. Somebody asked me up there whether I wasn't. He said, "Do you understand how emotional we are here at this rally? You understand how scared we are?" And I said, "Look, the only and some of us actually need." He said, "Some of us actually need some sort of help, therapeutic help." I said, "The only therapeutic help I would need is if I had a kid that I was paying tuition for to go to this school and was in this rally. Then I'd need therapy." You're right. But other than that, I said, I can tell you that when Obama was first elected, I was devastated. And when he was reelected, I was ready to take the gas pipe, because I'm telling you, it was the worst concept. It was the worst thing I could possibly imagine. And I said, but you know what I had to do? And I pointed to my sign.
Suck it up.
I had to suck it up.
Yep.
Get used to it. It's life.
No choice. Absolutely. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, which I had Joe Pollack on, one of the people who was running Breitbart, one of the big editors over there, at the top of the show. And this Steve Bannon stuff, how the media has taken one man and made him into a villain. Without question, he is now a villain. It's accepted he's a villain. They accept he's a villain. If you like him, you're a villain. He's been declared the most divisive figure in the country. And based on nothing, based on fallacies, based on baloney, and based on slander.
Yeah. And I hope he goes after these people on just that ground, because I know Steve Bannon. I can tell you he's a brilliant guy. You know why? You know how? He hired me. He hired me to write a column every week in Breitbart. He's brilliant. Not only is he brilliant, he is a really fine gentleman who is absolutely all this junk said about him is all part of this massive plan to delegitimize this presidency. I've never seen anything like it ever in my life. They talk about us, the right, being divisive. The entire foundation of progressivism is based on dividing us all up into victimized groups, to tribalize us. That is the essence of Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. And yet they say we're divisive. My God, man, look in a mirror, Mr. Progressive.
Yeah, absolutely. It is disgusting. All right, let me ask you now about what we've seen so far, names that have been bandied about. By the way, have you been contacted in any way, shape, or form?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right. Well, that's too bad. That's a shame, actually. Seriously, that's a shame. But I think you'd be great in any capacity. But what I mean, we're hearing the same names. We're hearing General Flynn, who is up here. I hope he gets that appointment. What about Nikki Haley for Secretary of State? She's in town today, and that's something that's been bandied about.
Well, I guess, but I have to tell you, the other names that I've heard that I would like more than Nikki Haley are people who are like Giuliani and others. I know a couple of these people very well. One, for instance, Chris Kobach, who's been talked about for either DHS or Attorney General. And here's what I like about those people. And I think Nikki Haley is more the type of person that would have been put on by a Bush administration. But what is great so far about the Trump administration is that it's going to be made up of people that frankly would never have been identified by any of the traditional Republican, if any of the other Republican candidates had won, you'd never see these names. You would never see those Supreme Court justices. You would never see people like Chris Kobach and others who I know well, and they are brilliant, and they would be wonderful in these positions. You would never have seen it. So Nikki Haley, she's a nice lady as far as I know, but she wasn't a supporter necessarily. I just think that you have to look for people who are really dedicated to and really know the issues inside out, and they're not there just for some sort of potted plant on the stage to enhance the view.
Something I talked about in the open, the list of recipients on his way out the door that Barack Obama is going to give the Presidential Medal of Freedom to, the highest civilian honor that you could give. And while you have Vin Scully, the longtime Dodgers announcer, and Tom Hanks, who I don't have a problem with, but you have Bruce Springsteen and Robert De Niro. And as I pointed out in the open, Bruce Springsteen recently during the campaign was in Germany performing. He saw someone in the audience that had an F Trump sign, and it said the whole word. He took the sign and he himself held it up. That guy's getting the award. Then you have Robert De Niro, who famously did a video saying, among other things, he wants to punch Trump in the face, and he wasn't kidding. And these are the two recipients of the highest civilian award a person could get that Barack Obama is honoring. I think that sends a terrible, terrible message.
Yeah, but one I expect from him. But some good things, the head of, is it PepsiCo? PepsiCo?
Yeah.
That said he didn't want people to actually buy his product if they had voted for Trump. I understand that the stock has taken an incredible nosedive. That's great. Believe me, I'll never buy. You don't have to convince me not to buy anything that's PepsiCo. The guy that threatened to kill Trump, and he's the head of some
CEO of a company. Yeah, it is insane.
It's just unbelievable. This stuff is unbelievable. And I'll tell you, what's another thing is amazing, because all of the anti-Trump stuff is is right out there. But, you know, they try to pretend that all of these events that are occurring. We had something here in Colorado. Somebody spray painted a car with Trump and a swastika because it was a car of a transgendered person. Like, who would even know that? These things are all trumped up.
Yeah, and how do we don't know. First of all, we don't know who did it. And they assume it's a Trump supporter. We've had people who have had to recant when they're confronted by the police. These reports of, go back to your own country, or pulling my hijab. You know, these are hearsay kinds of things.
That's
They
right.
don't make. Anyway, Congressman, great talking to you, my friend, as always. And I love that story about the protest you showed up at. We'll speak to you soon.
On Tancredo Facebook, you'll see it all.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon, sir. All right, coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, Give Me Five plus a special report from our own Bill Tucker. Don't miss it.